Let's go now to James O'Keefe. He is in charge of a group called Project Veritas, doing the greatest undercover videos on the pretty much on the entire internet, which is a pretty cool thing in the age of undercover videos. Old friend of mine, old friend of the Breitbart family. James, good morning.
Hey, Alex. Good morning to you.
You're also on with Raheem Kassam, our Breitbart London editor. Got a great show, hot news, and you're grabbing a lot of it for your own self because big headline, U.S. News and World Report that the anti-Trump group Disrupt J20, or the rally anti-Disrupt J20, the activists are planning to scale back their inauguration blockade plans. A lot of it is because you exposed a lot of them with your latest round of undercover videos. Give us a summary of what's been released and then tell us what's yet to come.
So on Monday, we released the first video, which got a couple million views and has been very, very effective at exposing what their plans are in terms of releasing this butyric acid gas into the HVAC system of something called Deploraball. Deploraball is an inaugural ball Thursday night. A lot of the alt-right people are going to this event. And this anti-fascist coalition, which is part of Disrupt J20. Disrupt J20 is the group that's trying to shut down the inauguration. A lot of people involved in this Disrupt J20. They're talking about setting off sprinkler systems, getting people soaking wet so they go outside and get hypothermia, and releasing this gas. And they follow up from the meeting with emails that are showing their plans. They're doing recon. They're casing the National Press Club. And they sent probably a couple dozen emails. And we forwarded all those emails and all that video to the FBI, who maybe not this morning may be pressing charges, or there's some development happening today. That was the first video. The second video was probably worse. It showed more anti-fascists claiming that they're going to chain the trains down. They're going to put chains on the metro trains to, I guess, derail them or stop them or prevent them from working, which is straight up terrorism. And then also punching people in the throat. So all these videos have been released. And as you say, yesterday it was reported that they're basically saying we're not going to be as involved. They're paranoid. They're panicking. My sources tell me now that they're actually they're saying that they're saying, because I still have people on the inside, they're saying just show up Friday. They've sort of given up a lot of these plans. And one of the deplorable organizers informed me that there were 4 or 5 anti-fascists who actually signed up for the Deploraball. Well, guess what? They revoked their ticket. So all of this is evidence that they indeed planned to do the things they were going to do, but have now given up and sort of surrendered.
Well, hopefully you're saving a lot of people some pain here, James. I just can't get over the fact that this is the tactics from the left, that they want to stop people from going to work. They want to stop people from enjoying, as Barack Obama describes, one of the pillars of our democracy, the peaceful transition of power. They want to stop people from getting home to their families. This is how they want to protest Donald Trump. And for what, James? What are they explaining is the point of these marches and rallies?
Well, does anyone else find it ironic that an anti-fascist group is basically plotting to gas people? I mean, what is this? What are they trying to do? I mean, they are basically, they are self-identified communists. A lot of these groups are very far left. Some of these groups, like there's ATA, there's Socialist Collective, Disrupt J20, anti-fascist, anti-fa, as it's colloquially known. I mean, some of these groups get money from George Soros, the League of Conservation Voters. All agree with the objective of shutting down the inauguration. And these are groups that have been on the radar of the FBI. When we met with Secret Service to share them this footage, because we have an obligation to, what they told me was that our information confirms what they already knew. They had the case file in front of them. They had the last names of the people. One of the guys, I couldn't get his last name. They had his last name, Luke Kuhn, the guy who met with us at this Pizzagate location. This Comet Pizza is where they had the planning meetings. So they're radically far left. And Alex, you know, your audience knows the answer. The far left does not believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in constitutional rights. They want to shut down dissent. They have a singular point of focus. They have a worldview that wants everyone needs to have their worldview, and they'll use any means necessary to achieve that. We just have to expose that. And this is an inauguration where people will use any means necessary to try to shut it down, and that's what we're exposing.
James, Raheem Kassam here. That begs the question: Are they really working for us? Because as long as they keep targeting what they claim are the baddies, people will have a far more sympathy for the quote unquote baddies than for these guys. And the anti-far guys. I mean, you asked the question: doesn't anybody find it ironic that these anti-fascists are using these tactics? You know, these people are still fighting the Spanish Civil War. They really do believe that that it is communism versus fascism as the ideologies that are at stake here, and that is for them to answer to, and something that they never can. My question for you is this: if these groups were found on the right, if these groups were found in our milieu, for want of a better word, we would be asked, are you denouncing them?
Yes.
Do you distance yourself from them?
Right.
Why is nobody going to Democratic senators, congressmen, the talking heads on the televisions and going, do you denounce these tactics? I want to hear from these guys.
Do you denounce the stink bomb left?
Right.
That's a phenomenal point. That's a point that I've been making on Twitter. That's a great question. This is the whole idea of divide and conquer. Do you denounce the activities? So what we did is we embedded this video, compilation of the best terrorism bits, and we tagged Michael Moore. We said, hey, Michael Moore, because Michael Moore has been all over Disrupt 820. Dan Jones, who's another leader, George Soros's deputies. What's the guy who played the Incredible Hulk? Mark Ruffalo, who's also involved in Disrupt 820. Bob Creamer, you all know who Bob Creamer is. Well, guess what? Some of these organizers actually said Bob Creamer sends his regards. So he's somewhat involved in some capacity, I don't know. And basically saying, hey, do you disavow? That's what they say to us.
Yeah.
Do you disavow the activities in this video? The reason is obvious. The media is deeply, deeply corrupt. That's why they're not. CNN and Fox is not showing this stuff. But and I'm fighting an uphill battle every day because it's undercover video. The television media is unwilling to put it on because it's just so lethally effective, and they don't want the liability. They don't want the liability because these guys could go.
Well, James, they also don't want to show that their reporters aren't doing what you guys are doing, which is actual, real investigative journalism.
Yeah, yes. It's a combination of those two factors. They probably feel a little bit of the green envy, but I think it's also these guys may go to jail. They may be arrested today, and I think a lot of television people are afraid to give air to something that would until it's news, like the fact that the U.S. News and World Report said Disrupt 820 is now trying to shut down the protest. They're shut down their protests and limit their protesting. I think that's going to be very helpful. But you're absolutely right. They need to say, "Do you disavow?" That's what we have to do.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, these latest videos going after these protesters. What happened, James, to the peaceful transition of power? What happened to when they go low, we go high? What happened to all this stuff? Love trumps hate. Is that mean you should barricade the trains? You should block the bridges? This is what we were told. The word that I keep using on the show, I use it every time, every broadcast, is the word projection, which is where the left says that they're against something, and then they engage in the exact tactics they tell you they're trying to save you from.
I mean, this is a story as old as time, and certainly, Alex, you know that I like to speak very personally about this because what I said on Twitter was, I had one of these Antifa people, Lacey McCullough is her name. She's an organizer. And she tweets out, you guys are on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. I mean, just this sort of comrade-y, sort of left-wing trope thing from like the Soviet Union. I said, Lacey, let me tell you something about history. My government has put me through hell over the last 8 years. I've been jailed wrongly. My evidence has been destroyed. I mean, you want to talk about an underdog. Talk about the guys at Breitbart.com. You want to talk about underdogs. You want to talk about taking on the entire machine for 8 years and being attacked for it. Yeah, now we're the underdogs. They're trying to put stink gas into HVAC systems and shut down trains. I mean, they're just straight up fascists. They're not anti-fascist. So that's what I was talking to Lacey McCullough about. The peaceful transition of power. There is no such thing in their minds. They will use all and any means necessary to achieve their objectives because they don't believe in law. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in anything except power, except raw power and winning at all costs. And if you speak to these guys, which my journalists do on a daily basis, you start to see that. The only thing they care about is power. And what I've learned in my life and doing this for 8 to 10 years is they will do anything to lie and cheat and steal. Disruptor 820 put out a statement Tuesday where they said, "Oh, we were just playing along, just lying to O'Keefe to try to get." That's just such a bogus excuse, and now they've been caught in that lie. So I think it's just another example of why we need to film these people and expose their true motives. And I hope people are arrested before tomorrow.
James, anything else you can preview before we head into this inauguration weekend?
I think there's going to be some legal developments today. I think, and I'll be able to update you guys in a couple of hours.
Interesting.
After the U.S. attorney gets back to me.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Thanks, James. Follow James O'Keefe on his Twitter feed, James O'Keefe 3 with III. And also check out Project Veritas. We cover just about everything on Breitbart because James earns the press that he does not get from the mainstream media with the folks at Breitbart News.